I have this practice that I was going to share with all of you, and it's connected to what we were discussing. And we brought up Frank Ostaseski, who wrote the Five Invitations, and he founded the Zen Hospice that was in the Bay Area. That was, when the AIDS epidemic was hitting pretty strongly. So he was, he was a Buddhist who opened up this hospice and really helped guide people to through the transition of death. And so he wrote this book, and it's called The Five Invitations, and we have covered it here in the past. But it's always good to, kind of like the Ho'oponopono prayer, it's always good to sometimes have these little reminders, right? Almost like you just, every day you kind of look at something, you go, oh, yeah. Anyways, with all of his experience, this comes from his entire experience, and he has these beautiful stories in the book, and we've actually done an extensive read of it in the past. But he has five invitations that we're going to discuss, and just, see how where these invitations rest with you, how do you incorporate any of these invitations into your daily life? And what I'm hearing, right, is that there's, as you're starting to practice mindfulness, mindful awareness, that it's almost as if this some of these invitations may emerge for you. And I started noticing, sometimes it's sort of like I do a practice and I don't really notice what I'm doing, and then when it's put into context with some other thing, then I'm like, oh, this is actually a practice that I've been doing for a few years now, and it has actually really helped me. So I wanted to share with you. Before we get there, I'm going through the five invitations and just seeing how that resonates with you. Number one, the first one is don't wait. That's an interesting one, right? This has all sorts of implications, right? Don't wait, right? I've always wanted to do that. Well, what are you waiting for? Right? Well, I'm waiting for the right time. Well, how will you know that is the right time? Especially with the Ho'oponopono prayer, right? Thank you. I'm sorry. I love you, right? When is the right time to tell somebody you love them, or say I'm sorry, or say thank you? And it resonates. It's like, well, when's the right time? Probably the moment you think about saying it. Probably the right time. And so, don't wait. And I love that one, right? Sort of like, don't wait. The next one is welcome everything, push away nothing. This is that surrender piece. Hey, here it's coming. It's coming. What am I gonna welcome? The vulnerability, the openness, the emotions that are arising, the constant flow of energy that we're noticing. Just see how maybe, even within your own life, or within your relationships, or even within this group, the more you're open to things, the more you're welcoming things, the more you express yourself, or be vulnerable in sharing, and be open, where it's going, how that has worked for you in your life. Bring your whole self to the experience. Bring your whole self to the experience. Whew. That can be a challenging one for some people, right? Oh, I'm just going to bring this part, or I don't really want to share that part, or that's the part I don't really like about myself, or, that's the part that people are going to judge me. Bring your whole self, right? I had a hard time bringing my whole self. And it wasn't until I was in grad school and medical school that I started learning what that was and becoming authentic with myself because I never shared any emotions. And during grad school, when I was doing my PhD, I just felt this sort of overwhelming sense of love that was starting to emerge, and I didn't, no idea what to do with it. In fact, I suppressed it for many years. And so I was not bringing my whole self to scenarios. And I noticed that. And then when I started bringing my whole self, my whole life started changing. Experiences started changing. People started, relationships started changing, et cetera, et cetera. So just, noticing that. And even if you're like, hey, I do bring parts of me to different this or this or this or this, seeing how that is for you. And that's it. No judgment. Find a place. Number 4 is find a place to rest in the middle of things. Find a place to rest in the middle of things. That's an interesting one. I like to find a place to rest. First of all, right? First, it's find a place to rest. Then it's in the middle of things. So finding a place to rest, even just that, right, is understanding about your nervous system and finding a place that you can rest, whether it's your attention or your body, your soul, your mind, your spirit. And where can I rest? Right? Do you have a place? Do you have a place that you can rest? Whether that's inside of you or even a place in nature. I like to go to this waterfall and that's where I rest. Okay, then that's a resource for you, right? Trying to find a place within you that you can rest, a place that you can direct your attention to. That's what we've done a lot in mindfulness, but trying to find that place in the middle of things, right? So that everything is there. And then, I think that goes back to the number 2, which is welcome everything and push away nothing. Right? So you're finding a place to rest in the middle of things as you're welcoming everything and you're pushing away nothing and you're bringing your whole self to the experience. Right? Now these aren't individual things. These are now they're holistic things. Right? And a lot of the practices, right? I have a difficult time bringing myself, bringing my whole self, or, I don't really have a place to rest. A lot of the practices that we do here can help find a place to rest. They can help they can help expand that sense of awareness for ourselves of what we can sit with, right? What can I sit with? Where is the middle? What can I sit in the middle of it? And so a lot of these practices will help do that by learning how to regulate our nervous system and be able to what we saw, increase that zone of tolerance for ourselves. And with repetitive practice, right, the rip rap, with repetitive intentional practice, with attentional practice, we start to be able to find a place to rest, as well as expand that sense of awareness to actually allow ourselves to rest in the middle of things as everything is going on, and be aware of it. And then the fifth is cultivate the don't know mind. Don't know. This is that playful curiosity we talk about. Right? When we go into something, a lot of us enter with ego. I know. I've done this before. And, this is how it is. This is how it is every time I do it. So what's the point? As opposed to being in that sense of playful curiosity. I can almost guarantee you if you start going on a walk in nature and you know exactly how it's going to be, that maybe you don't continue going. Well, I know what the waterfall is going to look like. Let me just turn around. Which seems sort of silly, right? But that actually happens. It happens quite frequently, where we're so certain about things, and yet what happens when we're so certain about things is we literally close off that moment. No, I already know how it's going to be. So again, that open curiosity, a don't know mind, right? Coming into it, how is it? What is it going to be like? I don't know. Okay, let's go. Let's go in this, right? And you might be with your dog, you might be with a loved one, whatever it might be, but entering that together. This theorist. This is from Frank Ostaseski from the Five Invitations. All right. So the practice that I'm gonna it's gonna be homework. It's gonna be homework. Is actually so doing this practice where with everything that you do, so pick a moment, all right? Pick a moment. With everything that you do, have the sense within you that this is the last time you are going to be doing that. In so that there will be no next time. That we will not be here to do that thing again. Okay. So, if you are eating an apple, imagine that that is the last time that you will ever eat an apple again, ever. What quality are you going to bring to that moment? When you look at the sunset, that will be the last sunset that you will ever see, ever. And just notice, right? And what may happen, and this is, I actually quite enjoy this. And I've been doing this for a number of years, as sort of a mindfulness practice of fully coming to the moment. And I usually do this in terms of, I take a lot of I listen to a lot of people's advice, especially people who've had like children before, and say, they grow up so fast, and it's always like, God, that's such an interesting thing to say, right? Like, there's some wisdom in that. Like, take the moment, experience, be with your children, experience that as they're growing up. Whatever some of these sort of wise statements are, and it's absolutely true, right? You sometimes just want to bottle them and keep them in like an infant stage, and next thing you know, it's like they're teenagers, and then they're grown up, and they're gone. But I do this, for instance, like when I put my kids to sleep. I imagine that that's the last time that I will ever see them, and that's a connection, right? There's this space that opens up just in that moment, right? And I say goodnight. I say I love you. Give them a hug. Give them a kiss on the head. And hold them. And, maybe it's just a hand on the shoulder or a hand on their back, or, but what happens is that there is a quality that arises when that sort of setting is placed. Like, this may be the last time that I see you. And so Here I am holding you, right? Here I am touching you. Here I am saying goodnight to you. And if I don't see you, and I watched a video of myself saying goodnight to you, how would I be okay with that video? Oh wow, look. Right. Totally in the moment. So this is a practice that we can do as both a formal and an informal practice. And for instance, we can do it with the breath. Like this breath could be the last breath that I take. It could. So how am I going to experience this breath? Right. This moment, this glass of water, going to Trader Joe's. Somebody mentioned going to Trader Joe's. This is the last time I can go to Trader Joe's. Jeez, really? What am I gonna get? I always go in there and I put this thing back on the shelf. Now what am I gonna get this time? This is the last time I'm going to Trader Joe's. What? Gee, let me try this new. I've always wanted to try this whatever lobster tail or something. Some crazy thing. It's like, go for it, right? Don't wait. That's the going back there. Right? What do you? No, I always wanted to get the chocolate covered pretzels, but I always put them back. Anyways, if this resonates with you at all, give it a try. Give it a try. Use it throughout your day. If you have a significant other, or you have children, or you have an animal or a pet or anything like that, or you have a plant, when you interact with that person, that interaction will be the last interaction that you actually have with that person. How is that interaction? What would you tell that person? And why not tell them now? So that gets back to, don't wait. And the other sort of, I'm sorry, right? Please forgive me. I forgive you. Thank you. I love you. Right? I've always wanted to tell you how appreciative I am of what you do. I've always wanted to ask for forgiveness for this thing that I did 20 years ago, and it's still coming up. Right? And I love you. Or, thank you for teaching me. All right. The problem is I live every day like it's my last, so that's why I don't work, because I would work on my last day. Even that, I would come here, and notice, well, what's the type of work that I could do that makes me feel like even on the last day that I'd still want to go to work, if you want to call it work. All right, so let's go into our practice. Okay, so let's find a comfortable posture. A posture you feel relaxed yet alert. Closing your eyes if you feel comfortable closing your eyes. If not, having a soft downward gaze. Or whatever gaze works best for you. And taking 2 or 3 deep breaths. And allowing yourself to feel your feet being supported by whatever surface they're on. Your legs, your arms in your lap or making contact with your thigh. Noticing how your back is being supported right now. Just bringing your attention into your body. And for this practice, just imagine that this is the last practice that we do together. This is your last practice. Just notice what comes up for you. Would you want to get up and leave? Would you want to stay and deepen the connection with yourself? Simply noticing what is arising for you. What quality of attention or awareness do you want to bring to this practice? That this is the last time you're going to feel your feet, your legs, your hands, your arms. The last time you'll see colors, hear voices or sounds. Smell anything. Taste. This is the last time you'll feel the sensation of your clothes on your body. The air against your cheek. Just noticing what quality of attention you're bringing to the moment. And each moment that comes is a new gift. A new moment a present. To fully be and experience this moment just as it is, with full surrender to the moment. That this moment may be the last moment. And any other moment is a divine gift from the universe for us to be able to fully experience it. Can you welcome everything and push away nothing? Can you bring your whole self to this moment? Can you find a place to rest in the middle of it all? Cultivating a don't know mind, and not waiting. The 5 invitations. Just noticing what your experience is in this moment. And wherever your attention may be, bringing your attention back to your body, back to your breath, taking 2 or 3 deep breaths. Opening your eyes if your eyes were closed. Stretching or moving if you need to stretch. And just reflecting on your practice.